another episode of Discussions of Exploration with your host, Sabrina bin Salmi. Today I'm joined with a very special guest, Ronnie Jacobs, who is a Superman. You know, when I first met you, Ronnie, I was just taken back. I'm sure loads of people say this to you, is that the energy, like, where do you get your energy from? First encounter is attending his charity gala, and I was just looking at this guy going, where on earth does he get his energy? And then when you share aspects which you're going to actually share with the listeners, I was just blown away by the driving force behind what you do. But you have picked a topic that's really near and dear to many people. Lots of people are speaking to me about this, bouncing back. Now, I wonder, before we get stuck into the conversation, if you can just, for the listeners, I know some people know you, but some people have never heard about you before. Could you tell people who you are, what you do, and we'll take it from there?
Amazing. First of all, thank you so much for having me on your fantastic vision. I really want to commend you and your family for setting the pace. You know, you set the pace in this civilization. So well done. You have to clap for yourself sometimes, you know. Well, I'm Ronnie Jacobs. I'm the founder of Cancer Africa charity. And I also organize a lot of fundraising events, fashion shows and film festivals to help raise funds for the charity. And I organize events for a living as well. I think I met Sabrina at one of my events, and she came to support our end of year charity show. So thank you for that. I got involved with charity work because I lost my dad to prostate cancer in Nigeria. And in Nigeria, it is a taboo for you to talk about, for you to say that you've got prostate cancer, or for you to say you've got cancer at all. People just look at you as if, like, you know, you're some witch that fell out from the tree or something, you know. And so through that, I just got myself involved in that area, and one thing just spiraled into the other, and things have just been developing, and I have been observing a lot of things and getting involved with it. I've come to realize that giving is everything, to just put it in a nutshell. Go ahead.
What an introduction. Amazing. You know,
I can talk forever, you know.
Not at all. It was good, a really good nugget. Listeners, like I often say, notepad and pen, take notes. You know, I know that Ronnie Jacobs going to share a lot with you, so be sure to pause, rewind, listen to it again. I love some of the aspects that you touched on about taboos, cultural taboos, and it'll be interesting that we all come from different backgrounds, but we can all tie in with the fact that we know what cultural taboos can have in terms of impact on us. And I love the fact that you said even someone being sick can be frowned upon, depending on where you're from. Sometimes we don't think about those things. Like, people really suffer, and it's not just a diagnosis. It's when they go back to their family. It's when they go back to their friends. How are they then met? How are they then received? Not just having to deal with diagnosis, it's everything around that. So, Ronnie, I take my hat off to you, because I think that's such a noble cause to take up, but also in honor of your father. It's amazing. I love the work you do. Listeners, I really urge you, at the end, Ronnie will be leaving some contact details. Get in touch. Absolutely amazing. And what I love about your events, they all have a seamless connection of just connectivity, having fun, and working together as a team. Yeah, it's amazing. So, let's kind of get stuck into the conversation. Why? Why did you pick bouncing back? Why was that important to you?
Because I lost everything when I went to look after my dad in Nigeria. He was sick in hospital for 14 weeks. I lost my job. I lost my house. I lost everything. And at that point, I felt, I have to fight back. And everything was, I was on a job where I was getting £49,000 a year, had a company car, had a £300,000 house, and all that just went within 3 months. And I came back to the UK, and I had to go squat in my brother's house. The people who were listening to this were like, "What? Really?" Yeah, really. I had to go squat in my brother's house with my family, and gradually fighting and working my way back to rebuild myself. And I say this because I want people who are going through difficulties not to be ashamed of fighting back, not to be ashamed of accepting the position that they find their life, going through a difficult time, like we have these strange times at the moment. A lot of people may have lost their jobs. A lot of people may have lost friends and family. A lot of people may have lost opportunities and that they would have used to grow themselves. And sometimes it gets a bit embarrassing for you to say to yourself or to members around you that, listen, I am at point zero, and you get shy, and then you feel ashamed. Some people might take drastic measures and begin to hurt themselves, self-harm, and go into depression or go into various aspects of life. But I took the different route. I took the route whereby I said, listen, now, I'm going to have to pick the lowest of all the lowest jobs, work my way back, and bounce back. I had a plan, you know, and the thing I would say to listeners is, when you want to bounce back, you must have a direction. You must say to yourself, this is where I'm going. Otherwise, you flow to the left, you flow to the right, and you get distracted, and then you get more demotivated, and it affects us emotionally. But I decided this is what I want to do. This is the path I'm going to follow. Even at that time, my people who were very close to me, relatives who were very close to me, said to me, oh, Ronnie, you can't be, listen, right now you just need to go get a job somewhere. Yes, go and get, look for this, look for that. Everybody's coming with different thinking that they're still looking at me like the life I had before I lost everything. Rather than looking at me where I am now, you're still looking at me like how I used to be, the lifestyle I used to live. You know, I'm using myself as an example because I believe that listeners could relate to my story better if they know where I'm coming from. So I know myself. So when I looked at where I was, I said, listen, I'm not going to just leapfrog from where I am now and click my finger and some £50,000 a year job is just going to fly out of the sky and run his lap. But I said, listen, the best thing I want to do is I'm going to gradually take baby steps. If it takes me 5 years, I'm going to take these baby steps for the next 5 years to get to this point of my life where I can look after my family, look after myself, look after my home, and then pursue the things that I've more desired in my heart. So give yourself time. No matter what you're going through, never say to yourself that, oh, I'm in this position now, everything's falling apart. Yes, things will fall apart. I call those things events. There are different events in our life that happens to us in the process of us going through that path. It's an event that would happen. You go through that event, another event will come, even bigger, or even sometimes it could be worse. And you go through that event, another event will come. Events keep coming every single path that we take to achieve what we want to achieve. So I went through so many crises, so many failures, so many things that didn't work out. Listen, I could talk for 1 hour, but I just kept going, kept getting all the negative comments, oh, you always try things that they never work. Oh, you always want to do things that never work. Right now, this is not where you should be focusing. You should be focusing, wow. And sometimes I'll go back in my room and I look at myself and think, how did this happen to Ronnie? How did I lose everything? There's a saying that we say in Africa. We say, it's because the elephant fell on the floor. That's why the ant was able to climb over it. So that basically just means that no matter where you are, you can bounce back in especially in relationships. People go through relationships and have a very, very difficult relationship, and they think, oh, I've passed the age of meeting somebody. I can't get together with somebody anymore. I've got too much this. I've got too much responsibility. There's always one excuse or the other. But the moment we open our eyes to say, this is where I want to get to, you know what happened to me? I started to see people and opportunities that will help me to get to where I want to get to. From that time that I decided that this is where I want to go, all of a sudden there was this new picture. There was this new people, new opportunities, new avenues, new books, new links. I was saying to myself, bloody hell, excuse my language, these opportunities It's always been there. But because my eyes were closed, I never saw these opportunities. And I took them step by step. And gradually, I've been able to rebuild myself. I'm still in the rebuilding process. I'm still in the rebuilding process. I'm still pressing on, and pressing on, because the picture that I have painted is still 15 years away. So I've still got 15 years to get there. So carry on.
I love that. You know, there's so many golden nuggets you've just shared, and I just wanted to go back. One of the things that really stood out for me is the shame, the guilt. And I really honor and thank you for being so vulnerable and open and transparent. One of the things that we have in our family is that we recognize that when we're very superficial with what the root cause is, we get a superficial result. And I love that you've gone straight to it. You've gone straight to what is, because the truth is there are listeners listening to this and thinking, I'm struggling and there's no way I'm going to tell anybody. Let me just pretend, you know, I look okay. Let me put on the brave face. And I love every essence of what you shared, because it allows them people to just breathe. It allows them to be thinking, what's going to be best for me and my family? Because the truth is, listeners and viewers, is the moment you actually connect with what it is for you, that's what's important. Doesn't matter what people will say, doesn't matter what people are doing, doesn't matter upon the assumptions, because they say it's only the truth that shall set you free. I really honor and respect you for sharing that at that level.
Yeah, it is hard sorry to interrupt you. It is hard for your listeners who are listening. I have been there. I understand how difficult it is for you and especially your close family members, especially your close friends who used to think, oh, they need to call you every week. You go out for a drink. You're the one that's paying for dinner. And you're like, you know, you're the Joe Blog. You're everything to these people. And all of a sudden you're nothing. And they don't call you anymore. And they don't want to hang around you anymore. And you start to feel that, oh my God, you know, you lose their respect. But at the end of the day, I've always said this and I'll say it again. No matter where you are right now, no matter how much these people that will keep saying negative things and trying to make you look as if you're worthless, no matter what they say and they do, if you stick to your plan and you dig deep and you work hard, work smart, stick to your plan, you will get back and even better than those who are talking. And guess what? They'll come back to you trying to be your best friends again. And I tell you something, don't push them away, but just be wise and use wisdom in having that relationship with them, because your best friends or your good friends are the ones that are with you when you are nothing, not the ones that come to you when you are everything and they want to be your pally and all that. Listen, man, been there, done that. Yeah, nothing.
Ronnie, you know what? You're on fire. That's all I'm going to say. That's the best way to describe what you're sharing. Listeners and viewers, get stuck in. You know, it's a choice. Remember, you can, whatever you fight for, you get to keep. Ronnie's really inviting you to do something that's going to transform your life if you take the action. What I love about what you said is about the people that show up around you. And it really makes me remember that people in our lives for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And I think these times when these things happen, for us as a family, we always revert to them as a spiritual upgrade, a detox plan. Because the truth is, if they didn't want to be around you for the right reasons in the first place, it's a blessing in disguise. I know it's hard. I know it's painful. Like Ronnie said, it's not easy, but it will make sense. You know what I also love that I really need to flag up is the fact that you said when they come back around, don't push them away. Because what I love about that is that really resonates with me, because it's one of my core values, is that when you have your choice, you treat people according to how you are, not according to how they are. Okay? And I think it's such a deeply profound decision to make when people turn back up. Go on.
Yeah, and another reason why I said that is that everyone you meet in your life, at that particular point in your life, they have a reason and a purpose for being in your life at that time. Don't forget this. Everyone in the journey that you are taking, there is a reason why somebody is hooking up with you at that point in time in that journey. Not everybody that starts with you will get to the end with you. Not everybody that starts that vision with you will follow you all the way to the end. So don't get angry when they don't follow you all the way to the end. Don't get angry when they get to a point and say, listen, Ronnie, I can't do this anymore. Really, it's too much for me. Appreciate them and thank them and love them, because they carried the burden for you with you. during that particular section of your vision. Because your vision, only you can carry the magnitude of your vision. The people that are coming to help you, to lift you, to be a pillar, to carry you all the way to where you were going. So appreciate them, even the ones at the very beginning that were there to help you just to push your car when your car didn't start. Call them, keep in touch with them, support them, because you don't get angry. I don't like when people get angry. So when somebody says, "Oh, I can't do this, I can't work with you, Ronnie, anymore. It's too hard," and you get offended. That person sacrificed their time, the value of their life for you for 1 minute, and that 1 minute, appreciate it and thank them and hug them. They might even get shocked. Hey, I thought you're gonna be angry.
Oh, I love that. I love that. You know, like, I love the enigma of life. I love the organic unfoldment, and everything you're talking about is about surrendering to, you know, I don't have to have an attachment to this. I will appreciate for the period it lasts for. I don't have an attachment that it has to be the way I think it has to be. And I love that, because the ebbs and flow of life, if we can just surrender to the natural ebbs and flow of life, like someone will come, they will go, but just being total serenity to that, because that's how I think we get out of our own way. Do you know what I think might be quite useful for some of the listeners and listeners is what the key components that you had to be mindful of? Because it's one thing to say I got back up. I know it's not easy. I've been there. I've walked some of the journey that you're talking about. What were some of the things that worked for you? What did you have to absolutely put in place to ensure that I got back up? Because it's not as easy as just saying I get back up when you've got friends that you look up to, family, seeing you at your lowest of low. What did you have to put in place?
I think the first thing was, you know, I knew I had to go back to university. That was first thing. I knew I had to go back and get another degree that is in line with what I love doing. That was one. Because I knew that for me to be able to be effective in changing my level, even if I was street smart, I needed the education to be able to take me to the next level. So I put that in place. Okay, I'm going to start uni. It's going to be difficult. I'm going to start me. How am I going to look after me? I'm going to start doing night work. So I work at night, go to university today. 3 years, I'm going to go through all that, and I'm going to achieve what I want to achieve. That was one. Then number two, most importantly, because you already have a job, you already have something to look after, to pay your bills, look after your home, it gives you time to now map out what exactly am I going to do? I'm going to start doing X, Y, Z. So I now said, okay, I'm going to start working on events. Okay, if you're going to start doing events, how are you going to do that? You're going to start, where's comfortable for you? So I decided, okay, I'm going to start doing events in Africa. So how am I going to do that? I'm going to go there once every 3 months. I'm going to have this big event. At least that funding will look after my family, will look after X, Y, Z. So I planned that over the period, over 3 years. So I was dedicated to just that, delivering great shows, engaging myself with key people key stakeholders that would fund and make the events great. And then we'll be able to get enough resources, and I could donate some to the charity and then use some to look after myself and my family. I did that over a period of 3 years while I was getting my degree. And most importantly, I'm saying this to my viewers, that was in line with where I was going. I had decided that I'm going to be the best that I can in delivering experience and events and programs for my customers or people that I know. So I started on that line. I maintained that line, and gradually my education that I acquired clicked, brought everything together. It's so important. And I'm fortunate. Some of your listeners could be in different countries where they don't have the privilege of all these facilities. But in the UK, we have everything in abundance. So it's only laziness that will make you to say that you can't rebuild your life. I'm sorry to say this. Some people might have health reasons, but I'm just saying in general, if you're really smart and you want to work hard and you want to rebuild yourself, you can rebuild your mental state. You can rebuild your physical attributes and your characters to mold you. So those are the steps. First of all, I got an education. Secondly, I had a clear vision of where I want to go, and I worked towards it day after. It doesn't have to be a long time. even if it's just 1 hour a day. I made sure, would you believe, for the past, since 2009, I have always posted one post on social media every single day since 2009. I've never missed one day. That's discipline.
Wow, wow, wow. Do you know what I love about that? See, one of my beliefs is that the vision is the postcode for the soul. I
Yeah.
love, I wanted to tap into, how did you get through that? But I love the way you put that clearly and concisely. Listeners and viewers, you've got a blueprint. You have a blueprint for how it can work for you. What I really love is that you're not saying this is for everyone. You're saying what worked for you, but also people can take from it what they can use for themselves. And I really love that the driving factor, how you were able to re-educate yourself, reposition yourself, but also serve. I love the fact that you had a pure intention to serve along the way. And I think that activates a very, very powerful law of the universe, is that when we're giving, when we don't have much to give, or we think we don't, I think something very special takes place. Because listening to that, and I know that's only a tip of the iceberg, I know we're having a short conversation here, but I love the way you put that across. And listeners, I really hope you gained as much as I did from that. One of the things I'm conscious of, obviously, in the time, we're just pushing to the end.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. I'm good. I'm enjoying it.
I like that. What's really interesting for me is that I think there's a clear difference with roles. And what I mean by that is that you are the head of the home, you are the man. And I think to some extent there is a difference. I've been in conversations, and I would love you to obviously share your thoughts around this, is that I feel for our men sometimes, because when these situations arise, to some extent, it feels like everything's on them. It feels like they carry all of the shame, all of the strain. Like a lot of it goes on inside their head. And sometimes they're so embarrassed to actually speak. I meet so many men that are crumbling, crushed, but they feel so scared about just saying, I need help. They feel so scared to say to their partner, I don't know what to do. And this is what I love about your share, because I think when men can hear that it's okay, we fall down, we get back up. And as a family, we get back up and we support each other. What's your viewpoint around that?
I think it's a natural, it's a natural mindset that's built in men. We're just naturally proud and naturally like to keep our pain within us, because we just feel we're the head of the family, of the house, and we have to carry all the load. Yes, fair enough. But however, if you're living with somebody and you both love each other, this is my opinion. It doesn't make sense for me to be living in stress and pain when my partner is maybe working or she's comfortable. There must be some of that burden that they can carry for you. There was no way I could have worked nights and go to school daytime and then raise up my kids, raise up our kids together, if it wasn't a collaborative discussion or collaborative plan. Because at the end of the day, yes, I didn't just say, oh, I just went to school, came back home, slept. No, there was that. Because at the end of the day, you got your core responsibilities whereby you support your family. But going back to your question, as a man, what I would advise is, it is okay to fail. It is okay to fall. It is a natural event in any life. Every man falls. Every woman falls. Every animal falls. It is not the falling that is the issue. It's how you fall forward and how you get up again. That's what matters. What makes you a man? I'll please write this down. What makes you a man is not if you fall or not. It's if you are able to get back up. If you're a man and you believe that you want to be ashamed, you should be ashamed of not being able to get back up. So that should motivate you. You should be able to get back up no matter what hits you. You should say, listen, man, I'm a man. I got to get back up on this one. That should motivate you. And that goes for both men and women. I'm just talking the phrase of men at the moment. As a human being, when you fall, your ability to bounce back and to step back up is what makes you better and stronger than the elements of this world that are trying to press you back. There's a saying that says, do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be renewed by the changing, or be renewed but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. When you change your mind, your whole body transforms. It transforms your body and it helps you to rise back up. Things may be bad yesterday, but when you wake up in the morning, it's a brand new day, my love. It's a brand new day.
Oh, I'm so excited. I'm so glad you shared that, because I feel for men. There's lots of conversations I'm hearing. And, you know, one of the things I'd love you to add to this, because what you shared was absolutely spot on, but how us women can support our men, because I do know men that are crying inside, and I know that by listening to this, there's going to be a lot of self-acceptance, but liberation. It's like just accepting this is what it is.
But it works both ways, my dear. It works both ways. If you see, I've always said this to my friends, and I'll say it to the men that I know, and that's why when we're having this conversation with my mates, they all just are running sharp. Here you go again. It's very simple. To me, it's very simple. I believe that the biggest thing that you can give to your wife or your partner is love. When you give love, wholehearted love, on, agape love, the whole love, that even if the world is falling, you just, I'm sorry, love, I still love you, but I'm sorry, man. It's just love. So you open, there's nothing to hide. You're just an open book. So when things go wrong, it's not a news that, oh, how did that happen? When did that happen? When did you make that? Before you get to a point where things break down and you get to a point whereby you're ashamed of that thing, your partner should have been following you along the way to know that, listen, this thing that you're doing, how's it going? How are you getting on with that thing? So those little comments from your partners are the things that checkmates you. I'll say this to the men out there. Listen, there's no home that is perfect. There's no relationship that is perfect. There are some things that I say at home, and my own wife will say to me, oh, no, man, you're not going to do that again, but please, man, you're doing too much. Just, you got to take a break. And at the back of my head, she still knows I'm going to go ahead and do it anyway. But she's just saying that. And when she says things like that, it checkmates me. It gives me that 10 minutes or 15 minutes to sit down and still think, you sure? Then I double think again. And those little things, those little nuggets, is what shapes us. It doesn't necessarily have to be that your wife has to agree with you or your husband has to agree with you with everything. But women out there, in my opinion, I always believe that if you're in a relationship whereby the man is not abusive and he loves you and you can see that he really cares, we just have to be patient with one another. Just be patient, The grass is not always greener outside,
Oh, I love that. I'm really glad that you were able to share this with the listeners and the viewers, because I think it's so needed. I feel that you've done it in such a subtle way, but straight to the point. It's really important that they understand. I love the essence of the giving love. I love the essence of just having that communication, because it's when the communication of love and respect is not there, that's the seeding of all these problems. And I really, really love the message. Listeners, viewers, take heed, okay? This is a man that's an embodiment of what he's sharing. He had to utilize it to rebuild his kingdom. Take heed. Oh yeah, yeah, I really get moved sometimes. I get choked. I have to speak again, but I love what you said, and I love what you said because it's wise teaching and wise sharing. It really is the difference that's going to make the difference and a game changer in the current climate. And when we realize that our family is our team, and like you're saying, they are core responsibility. And I think that word that you used as well, it's so needed, especially as a woman. It's music to my ears, is that when your family feel like they are your primary responsibility, they act differently. When they feel like they're unified in your goal, they respond and support you differently. So I love so much about what you shared. It has so many different facets to it. Was you going to say something else?
No, I was just going to agree with you. I mean, I would think it's complete madness for you to have a man who is loving you and doing everything he can, giving you his time and really doing everything he can to take care of you, and then you just kick him every time that he makes a mistake. I mean, come on, that kills a man, though. You don't kick a man when he's down.
Ronnie, that's a powerful one. Listeners, I have to echo that. I'm sorry. I have literally seen this play out. A very close friend of mine ended up in the hospital with his skin literally peeling off through the stress of that. And I think it's us as women, we need to be mindful of, you know, are you a good man? Let's work on it. Because exactly what you're saying, I see a lot of good men that will do so much for their partners, so much for their children, and so on and so forth. Not appreciated, it's not recognized, it's not acknowledged, and to some extent the man is seen as just a bank account. You provide, you give money, and it's only give me. You're not giving. And I'm just going, men are not to be used. You know, men, I really, you know, it's funny you've answered the prayer, because I wanted to do a talk. I never realized it was going to organically get here, but I wanted to start talking about our men, because there's lots of things like, you know, men are not doing things right and men are abusive. It happens both ways. Men and women are abusive, but men, we have good men, and I think it's so needed that the conversation geared towards that. There are men that take care of their families. There are men that will do no matter what to get back up. They fall down 10, they get up 11, they get up 12, they keep getting up, and I love that failing forward. So I'm so excited by what you're touching on, because I don't think we speak about this essence enough. We don't speak about the good fathers that show up and go to school at night and do what they can in the daytime. We have to actually start giving these positive examples, because they do exist in our community. So thank you, Ronnie. Really, thank you.
You're welcome.
I wonder what's on your mind to leave a final message with the listeners and the viewers, so we can let you get back with your family.
I think in conclusion, I think the listeners who are listening should look at Sabrina. Should look at your life, look at what you've made of your 5 children, and look at how you're still very visionary and still pursuing and still positive and still driving and still assuming energy. And people should not just assume that it's all bed and rosy for Sabrina. You know, she's going through challenges, but she's still winning every day, baby steps by baby steps. So you mothers out there who you think that the world is over, it's not over. And you fathers out there who you think that, oh, you could just, you know, come into somebody's life and make it all messed up. I'm not saying you are, but I'm just talking to parents. Please, please, please look at Sabrina and look at what she's doing with her children. Use that as a key and an example to say, listen, if she can do it, then I can do it. God bless you, my sister. I wish you all the best in what you're doing, okay?
Oh, I love that. I love that. I echo, listeners and viewers, I echo, our family do stand as an example of what you can achieve. See, we can show you everything we know, but you can go on to leap onto better things. This is just the beginning. It really is. And it's just a clear example of what's possible. But what I also love is that the key and core message around unity in a family. Why, like you're saying about the men or women, vice versa, why disrupt your kingdom when you can focus on building your own empire? I really echo what you're saying from the bottom of my heart.
Because people keep looking outside, you know, they keep looking outside. They think it's always better outside, you know, television, social media, and all that rubbish. That is just like fictional, you know. Why don't they show them when they're, man, listen, let's end the show.
I love that. You know, thank you so much. Before you go,
different topic, you know.
No, I'm glad you're getting passionate. You know, guys, look, you haven't even seen an essence of the energy that Ronnie's behaving himself today. I don't know what he's on his best behavior.
Don't worry, I'll set up a part 2, okay?
Ronnie, how can the listeners and viewers get in touch with you?
Just go to cancerafrica.org. Give a kind donation to our charity. We're trying to build the first ever free cancer hospital in Africa. And that's going to be amazing. 2022, you come and watch it online. So thank you. Go to cancerafrica.org and support the charity and help us reduce cancer in Africa. Thank you so much, Sabrina, for having me.
Thank you so much. Listeners and viewers, we will be obviously attaching some links, so don't worry, we'll be putting it in the bio. And you can learn some more about the amazing work that, you know, Ronnie, his team and his family, there's a powerhouse there. Thank you so much,
Thank
Ronnie.
you.
You take good care of yourself.
I really appreciate having me. Thank you so much. Keep up the good work. Say hello to all the kids for me, okay? Or your champions.
Bye.
Bye.